So this morning we're focusing on Down to Earth, our funeral poverty project. We are being joined today by Lindsay Mace, who runs the project. She's the manager. So I'm really delighted that we have her insight today to let us know how the project has adapted during the pandemic, and also the type of calls that we've been receiving during this time. So I will tell you a little bit about Quaker Social Action. I'm sure many of you already know about us, but we've been taking action against poverty for over 150 years. We work in East London and across the UK to make a practical difference to people's lives. We do this by creating services wherever they are most needed. And we work with people in an empowering and holistic way. We were founded by Quakers, but we're an independent charity. We're still inspired by Quaker values, particularly equality in our work against poverty and injustice. So we do our work in a few different ways. We provide crisis support for those unable to afford funerals or furniture. We run a supported housing project for young adult carers, and we empower people to manage their money, improve their resilience, and even cook healthily on a budget. So I will stop sharing my screen now. Hopefully you'll come back to me. And I will now hand over to Lindsay, who will give us the update on Down to Earth. Thanks, Lindsay.
Thanks, Rachel. And thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope it looks like everybody is enjoying some sun, as I am, which is very welcome. I'm delighted to be here today to tell you a bit about Down to Earth, because I'm really proud to manage this service. The core of the service is a helpline, which is the only one of its kind. It's UK wide and supports people struggling with funeral costs, as Rachel said. We're a really small team. There's just 3 of us at the moment, but I feel comfortable saying that we punch above our weight in terms of the impact that we have. On the helpline, we offer free advice and support around funeral costs to people on low incomes and benefits. We're not a grant giving charity, but we can help people access funds from various other sources. So other charities, the Department for Work and Pensions, that kind of thing. And we can help people reduce the cost of a funeral as well by shopping around and considering different options. But we also use our experiences and the experience of our clients to push for change in the funeral industry and in local and central government. And this is really important. One, because if we don't, we'll only ever be firefighting. And 2, because the people that we support are really a fraction of the tens of thousands of people who are suffering from funeral poverty. So it's vital that we do what we can to change things for everyone. So just briefly, I'm going to share my screen and share with you some slides looking at the impact that we've had over the last year. So hopefully you can see that now. So in 2019 to 2020, these are some of the numbers that reflect some of our impact. And I guess I want to draw your attention here particularly to the number of clients that we've given support to over that year, because that's up to the end of March this year, so not long into the pandemic, and yet, as you can see, we gave support to 636 clients during that year. And this is important because it's really important to stress that funeral poverty is an issue that's been around for a really long time, and in fact Down to Earth is 10 years old this year, and sadly funeral poverty isn't likely to be eradicated anytime soon. You can also see there some other figures around, the amount of money that we on average help people to raise and save, and at the bottom an example of the strategic work that we have, that we do, and some of the success that we have around that. So for example, pushing for improvements to the funeral expenses payment, which is a benefit that some people are eligible to receive from the Department for Work and Pensions to help towards funeral costs, though it rarely covers all the costs. But really, it's our clients' words that speak loudest in terms of the impact that we have. I feel like a load has been taken off my shoulders. Thank you very much. You've been an angel. You've been a very great help to us and our family at such a difficult time. Thank you millions from the bottom of my heart. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have got through the last couple of weeks. We're not an emotional support service in the usual sense of the words. We don't provide counselling. But I think hopefully you can get a sense there of the emotional and psychological impact our support can have at what can often be the worst time in someone's life. So, didn't mean to do that. Meant to stop sharing. Sorry about that. Doesn't seem to matter how many times you practice these things, you still encounter technical problems. Now, of course, these past 2 months have been a time of intense pain for so many people. 2 of those quotes were from people bereaved during the pandemic. So I'll explain a bit now about how we've responded in order to help people. So we started planning in early March for an increase in call volumes, and I guess realised our response would need to be largely twofold: greater helpline capacity, but also more information available online. So the first job was to update our existing resources and guides, particularly on how to raise money towards funeral costs, but also to create a new one around ways of reducing funeral costs. But it quickly became clear that we would also need specific practical information about arranging a funeral during the pandemic. Now, I suspect you've probably all also experienced feeling somewhat bombarded by information, some of it clear, some of it less so. It has been perhaps very similar in terms of keeping track of guidance and legislation around funerals, as well as having a sense of how things are operating in practice in different parts of the country. So it has been an ongoing job. I think Giles, our comms officer, will agree, for both of us to distill all of that down into something that people could easily understand. And so what we have now is a brief standalone page with basic information, and then a guide about organising a meaningful funeral during this time. Both of those together have received over 20,000 views since they were launched at slightly different points in March. So I'll just show you those briefly on the website. So this is our information page, and you can see there the 2 guides that I referred to before around raising money and saving costs. We also created some fact sheets to go along with those, which you can see down here. So the standalone page, just to sort of scroll down briefly, you can see has links to government guidance and sort of basic practical information around funerals during this time, and then links to some faith organisations and links to our guides at the bottom. So the guides around organising a meaningful funeral during the pandemic. Early on, it was clear that funerals were going to have to take place in quite a different way to what people would normally expect. And we felt aware that this might cause extra pain for people at an already very difficult time. So the guide acknowledges that and focuses a lot on suggesting ways to mark a funeral if people weren't able to attend. So here, for example, looks at practicalities, ways to connect with other people in this digital age. Slightly easier, though, of course, not for many people who are digitally excluded. Things to think about in terms of your environment if you're marking the day at home, and things that you might be able to do or to have around you to help make that day perhaps a bit special, a bit sort of different from any other day. So that's just to give you a sense of that. So our aim with creating digital resources has always been to reach more people than we were able to just through the helpline. And this has been even more key recently, because besides people accessing our resources independently, they have also helped us manage call volumes. So the number of people contacting the helpline started increasing at the very end of March. And in those first 4 weeks into April, we saw an increase of 117%. The numbers remained high for about 7 weeks. And we've only really been seeing a reduction in the last 2 weeks. So we are, I mean, as a team, we are so very grateful to those within QSA staff, including our very own Rachel here, who introduced me, trustees, and an ex-member of the Down to Earth team who volunteered to be a part of a triage system. And the triage system meant bereaved people were responded to more quickly than we would have been able to do otherwise, with our colleagues providing a first line of response. Where appropriate, they guided people through our online resources and signposted people to grant-giving charities and more affordable funeral directors. But also they identified and prioritised clients that sort of clearly needed further specialist one-to-one support from the Down to Earth team. And you know, by doing that, that freed up our capacity in order to give the help to those people that sort of particularly needed it. Of course, apart from the ex-team member, everyone was new to this work, and so we quickly had to deliver some training and guidance, both to equip people with the necessary skills and information, but also to, you know, to try to look after their well-being while carrying out what can be a very emotionally demanding role. So I'm just going to share my screen once more. So here's a perhaps not so lovely picture of me delivering the first of 3 webinars on different elements of supporting our clients. And we also created a triage script and other reference documents, which you can see sort of icons of at the bottom. And as I said before, this system meant we were able to respond to people's messages more quickly. Messages like these 2. The hospital wants us to nominate a funeral director so they can release my father's body, but we don't have the money to pay for one. My husband died a few days ago. I'm on benefits and struggling. He died out of the blue. Please, could someone call me? So just to give you a real sense of how we help in those kind of situations. I'd like to leave you with someone's story from the last 2 months. The name and some personal details have been changed for privacy reasons. 29-year-old Deborah wanted an attended cremation for her dad, who had died in only his late 50s. She opted to have a simple funeral, which unusually in her area was just over £2,000. But in receipt of benefits, she didn't have this money, nor did any other family members. She was probably eligible for the funeral expenses payment from the Department for Work and Pensions, though this was a little unclear. But the funeral director requested all the money in advance of the funeral taking place, and the DWP estimated it would take 3 months for her claim to be assessed. Even then, it would not cover all the costs. Deborah was upset at the thought of her dad being left for so long, and the funeral director was unhappy to store the body for that length of time. So they offered as an exception to go ahead without payment up front, but only as a direct cremation with no attendees. Deborah desperately wanted to give her dad what she felt was a good send-off, so Down to Earth negotiated with the funeral director to give time to make a charity application, which was successful, both in covering the shortfall and guaranteeing the rest if the DWP application wasn't successful. Deborah's dad's funeral went ahead with 10 people inside and a further 20 gathered outside to show their respects, giving him the send-off that Deborah wanted. I'm really glad we were able to help Deborah, but she is just one of thousands of people experiencing similar difficulties. And in terms of the future, even if COVID-19 is kept under control, there is likely to be a greater need for Down to Earth because people on lower incomes have been disproportionately affected by the pandemic, and it has also plunged thousands more people into financial hardship. So I'm sorry to finish on a negative note, but the reality is funeral poverty is not going away. Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. That was really, really insightful. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for sharing some of those stories. I know they are very emotional. I know that's quite a lot to take on a Thursday morning. So, and I know that's something you and your team go through every day. So thank you so much for being there for those people who really need it. So thank you. Just to say thank you so much for coming this morning, and I hope that you'll join us again next week for the Made of Money update. That will be with Simon. And if you haven't already done so, please do, if you can. We'd greatly appreciate any donations you can make to our coronavirus appeal. That's online. If you'd prefer to donate in any other way, please do just email me or give me a call, and I'll be happy to help.